Good evening, viewer. Welcome to our Glory Globe TV. Here's the breaking news. Yes, loving father exposed as a convicted killer who lived life on the run. The bare facts of the case cast American teenager William Leslie Arnold as a murderous villain who shot his parents because they refused to let him take their car to a drive-in 1958. Then, just 16 years old, Arnold buried their bodies in the backyard of the family's home in Omaha, Nebraska, and went about life as normal for 2 weeks until he was confronted and confessed to a crime that saw him sentenced to life in prison. From there, Arnold's story could have followed the familiar path of a life of decades of incarceration before a death noted by some and mourned by few. But Arnold's escape from prison, while still a young man in 1967, led to a totally different outcome that ended in congratulatory in Australia and the death of a man by a different name who was known as a loving father to a family who had no idea about his secret life. Black and white press images from the 1950s show a slight boy being led into the garden of his home, surrounded by police officers as he pointed to where he buried his parents. Geo Britton, chief of the Office of Law Enforcement Support in California, recalls details of the case with a vivid recollection of someone who has spent years poring over the file. The night of the murders, Arnold shot his parents before taking the cars and watching a double features with his high school girlfriend before telling everyone, even family members, that his parents had taken a trip. He had killed his parents and he was going to bury them in the yard later that night, and he is at the drive-in seeing the unlead, said Britton, who worked on the case for 9 years from 2004 to 2013 at the state of Nebraska Department of Correctional Services. To kill your parents over the use of the car to go to the movies, that's not normal. It made me wonder if something else was going on, he told to CNN. By the time Britton started on the case, Arnold had been on the run for more than 3 decades. In 1967, after serving just 8 years of his life sentence, Arnold and fellow inmate James Harding communicated with someone on the outside through newspaper advertisement placed in local newspaper, the Lincoln's Journal Star. Britton said, I was able to identify the person that helped them get the equipment to get out of prison. It was a former parolee, said Britton, explaining that the parolee obtained marks the prisoners used to fool girls who conducted daily hit counts at the prison. Similar to the movie Escape from Alcatraz with Clint Eastwood, Britton added. Newspaper reports at the time documented their daring escape over a 12-foot high wire fence in the low security area of the prison using a t-shirt to cover the barbed wire. A ground and air search extended across 4 states with helicopters, fixed wing aircraft, patrol troopers, sheriffs, deputies, and police officers, according to an article in the Lincoln Journal Star dated July 15, 1967. 3 months later, the Omaha World Herald quoted a prison warden as saying theirs was the cleanest escape in the experience. Britton said investigators later discovered the escapes made it to Omaha, then caught a bus to Chicago where they parted ways, according to Harding, who was captured within 1 hour. Arnold appeared to have vanished. Over the years, investigators followed numerous leads, including hearsay that he had fled to South America, though they found no proof that he was ever there. Britton became so upset with the case, he continued investigating it even when he moved away from Nebraska, and he was later put in touch with Matthew Westover, a deputy United States Marshal in Nebraska, who told CNN he took over the file in 2020. One of the guys left the office and you have to hand over your cases, so one of my buddies gave me this case as kind of a joke, like you are never going to find these guys, Westover said. Westover read stories in the Omaha World Herald by reporter Harney J. Cordes, who covered the case extensively in a series titled The Mystery of Leslie Arnold. Through numerous interviews, Cordes found a more complicated story than some had been led to believe. In the series, he portrayed Arnold as a good student who had difficult relationship with his parents. The shooting, wrote Cordes, came after a heated argument between Arnold and his mother, who disappointed of his girlfriend. In prison, Arnold followed the rules and could have qualified for early release. Cordes wrote he was a dedicated musician and the prison music from where he spent much of his time literally became his window of escape. Along with the mask, the parolee threw hacksaw over the fence, which Arnold and Harding used to cut through the bars on the window before scaling the fence. According to Cordes, the more Westover read, the more convinced he became that he was the man to find Arnold. From day one, I was hooked, he said. B.N. Naziford, Glory Globe TV, Delhi, India.